It's just a natural blend.
There we go. That's how we know it's right. That's how we know. I'm Rich.
And I'm Josh.
Make sure your Walkman is at full battery because we're diving into our dad tapes.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for listening to tape number 27 of the dad tapes. Let's get rolling.
What did you put in our hands tonight, bro?
Tonight, we are drinking a Flying Fish Brewing Company Hazy Bones. It's
Lazy Bones.
Hazy IPA. It's a 6.3% India. It's just an India Pale Ale.
Yeah, and where are they from? Somewhere down New Jersey, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you forgot about that.
Yeah, somewhere down New
I'm
Jersey.
gonna have to report you to them.
Ooh,
I'm
scared.
Partnership, huh? Yeah, good luck for that one. We trying to make it, bro. You got to shout them out right, man. Shit.
Oh shit.
I love how much that explosion.
That had some
That was
volume to it.
Exactly. That's
Ooh.
This is one of the best beers you've gotten in a while.
Ooh, that's good.
I'm not saying you got bad beers, but this is one of the best beers you've gotten in a bit.
I'm
for
good.
this. Damn, this is good.
It says best paired with barbecue, crabs, or fish.
Barbecue, crabs, or fish. I think it's best paired with anything.
Yeah, I think it's
A
best
burger.
paired with my hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Hand up and tilt back.
So how's your week been, bro?
Yeah. So Bridget finally got herself into a big girl bed, right?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. By big girl bed, we just mean we transformed her crib into the toddler bed.
Yeah.
So it has that little bar there, but she was so happy about it.
Yeah.
And mom was so happy about it. And I'm just walking around like, fuck. My baby girl's growing up too quick.
Yeah.
My baby girl's growing up too quick, man. It goes, man. But some other news, Dex is 5 and he has a crush on a girl at his bus stop.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, dude, it's honestly the cutest thing in the world. The way he interacts with this girl, you could tell. It's like he's definitely like, he thinks she's cute, and he gets very bashful and shy. And he's normally timid when he first meets new people. Sometimes it takes a little bit for him to wear in.
Yeah.
But he tries to do like some ninja crap, man. Like he'll jump around and he like runs around. Like he's trying to show off.
Oh yeah.
But he's still like, just today's the first time, and we are almost a full week to the day into school, and he finally said, bye. I ain't gonna say her name. I ain't blowing up his spot, bro. He's my boy. I'm not gonna blow his spot up, but 5 years old already crushing, man. I might be in trouble.
Yeah, you might have yourself a little ladies' man on your hands.
Oh, good grief, man. Well, how about you, bro? What's been good?
Not bad, man. I mean, it kind of a slow week at work. Really beautiful though. Like the temperatures have been dipping, and it's fucking great.
We get into the morning of like hoodie seasons.
Yeah.
The crisp fall air.
Yep.
Hunting season. I know your buck was blowing up your trail cam last week.
Yeah.
Have you seen him again?
He still probably is. I gotta go pull the battery out and charge it for some reason.
Oh yeah. He's waiting for you,
the
bro.
Damn solar powered fucking battery charger isn't working for some reason. So I don't know. But
maybe we shouldn't switch to solar then.
Yeah, right.
Too late.
No, it's been pretty good. I got myself back into the routine of going to the gym again.
There you go. That's what's up.
It's I feel good.
Good.
I feel more motivated than I did before.
Yeah.
So it's
just as a preface for everybody, it's Thursday night and we are Philly Eagle fans, so we got the game on. You won't be able to hear anything, but just if you hear something like, oh, shoot, anything like that, just know it, something bad happened. So, yeah, just Just prefacing that, guys. All right, just letting you know.
You know what time it is, bro?
Actually, let me look at my clock here. I think it's
I mean, my watch says it's
aware
time to be aware dads.
So tonight, our reading from The Daily Dad, written by Ryan Holiday. It is January 7th. They learn from home. Here's a quote from Louis L'Amour. It is constantly reiterated that education begins in the home, but what is often forgotten is that morality begins in the home also. You tell them to be good, to be honest, to follow the law, to care about other people, that safety comes first. You say these things, but what do you do? You can't say that you care about other people and then speed through stop signs because you're late. You can't tell your kids that honesty is important and then lie to get out of that ticket. We've all been there, I'm sure. What's worth more to you, avoiding a fine or living your values? That's what you have to ask yourself in every situation, particularly the ones where your kids are watching. Is getting what you want worth teaching the wrong lesson and undermining the values you're trying to instill? Those kids buckled in behind you, they are absorbing your example and assimilating the lessons that will shape them in the smallest and biggest of ways. From the kind of driver they are going to be, Tex, from the kind of driver they are going to be to the kind of person they're going to be. They're watching you as you go through the world right now. They're watching you break traffic laws, break promises. They hear you when you lie. They feel it when your actions don't match your words. Kids learn from home. They learn in the car. They learn from mom and dad. You set the standard, so be the standard.
It kind of goes along with what we're going to talk about tonight.
Kind of does.
In a sense.
It does. Yeah, it somehow blended perfectly. That was unplanned, guys.
It's just a natural blend.
There we go. That's how we know it's right. That's how we know it's right.
Yeah.
And without further ado, that leads us to our show topic. What are we talking about tonight, Josh?
Tonight, we are going to talk about education, Smeducation. If you're a millennial, Gen X, or even a Gen Z, it was probably made a high priority for you to go to college and get higher education. Join us tonight as we immerse ourselves into the topic of pressure to go to college, the impacts it may have, and the dilemma it has left our current, younger society in, between work shortages in certain areas or our workforce, to a multi-billion-dollar revenue machine for college loans.
Fucking making money off of sending people to school who have no actual right to get that money in regards to just like what do they have to go on? I mean, they have no credit. It's not a credit-based system. You know? It's not. And it's ridiculous. They just give money away and give you astronomical rates and expect you to pay that back.
Yep.
But also to live, you got to live in a house in absurd amounts of rent or mortgage if you're fortunate.
Yeah.
If you have a kid, good luck. Good luck.
If you have a kid and you're divorced, good luck.
And that's now a good segue for our data dump. It's understandable that the bulk of the college degrees to the generation's population is the baby boomer generation, raised by two generations that had hardly even attained a high school diploma. The silent generation and the greatest generation, both generations. You know, you're talking World War II. They were the bulk of the generations fighting.
Yeah.
Both of those generations expressed the importance of higher education to their children. The boomers. I mean, they don't want them to go to war.
No.
Who does? Well, who wants to see their kid off to war? I certainly don't.
No.
However, that pressure still carried through and was applied to the younger generations the boomers raised, Gen X and millennials. According to Statista, the range of college-educated boomers was approximately 9% to 19%. And that range was from 1960 to 1985, when they would be graduating that college time frame.
Yeah.
That is a 111% increase compared to previous generations. Comparatively speaking, though, millennials have approximate range of 24% to 35%. And though the rate of growth isn't even close, the shift went from approximately 1 in 6 boomers with a degree to more than 1 in 3 millennials having a degree. That's insane.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it speaks volume on our education system, maybe, and pushing people to college. But where does that leave the rest of the workforce? And that growth in higher education graduates can speak volumes for that shortage of workforce we have in the fields where higher education isn't required. In 1960, there were 44 states in America that had an 85% or higher work participation rate, whereas in 2023, those same parameters have only 5 states over 85%. 5 states. Moreover, in 1960, every state had a work rate of 80%, whereas in 2023, that same metric is only true for 17 states. 17
That's
states.
fucking wild.
We're talking all the states were above 80%, and now only 17. That's sad.
Yeah, it is.
And the apparent pressure on higher education put unrealistic and unattainable career expectations on the younger generations, Gen X, Gen Z, millennials. And they're the ones who have racked up extraordinary amounts in student debt to be met with lower wage jobs in the starting workforce fields that they've studied. Combining both mixtures of the pressure to go to college and the rates of college graduates compared to high school to the workforce graduates has created the gap that we are experiencing in the general workforce. And that was our data dump.
So, now sitting here thinking about it when we're reading the data dump, what I'm curious to know is, what do you think it's going to be like for our kids, when they get to be, for instance, our age? Mm-hmm. And how much more do you think that those percentages are going to drop? I mean, I know I don't want to say we have it bad now, but in a sense, we kind of do.
I mean, yeah, it's a very subjective term when you say have it bad now. And I will say I agree with you. Absolutely. I mean, it's pathetic to know that, the former generations had such a workforce rate of, every state at 80%. When I did the data dump and I discovered that, I thought to myself, that's really sad.
Yeah. And
that speaks volumes on so much. I mean, we've both been in the position to where we've had to look for jobs.
Yeah.
Not to target you, but look what you do now. Look at what you even did in everywhere between now and even from when you graduated your tech school.
Yeah, tech school, yeah.
And how many positions have you had that focused on that field?
Focused on the field, done.
Exactly. And you put the time and the money into that. The student loans you had to get.
Still paying on.
Exactly. And that's just for, not saying it's just a tech school, but that's a tech school compared to going like Jill, Penn State. Or Rutgers, or God forbid, like Virginia,
Rowan,
anything. Even Stockton.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. No. So it's a very discouraging element to see you who has the expertise in welding and put all that time into welding and laying down those mean beads, bro. But you haven't had a single job since you've gotten that.
Yeah.
Focused on that, and that's sad.
Yeah,
I know you want to, and it's not a shortage. I mean, it could probably be given to a different elements of like location and such. But to answer your question, I will say this. I see you getting ready to say something, but I will say this. I think that our generation and Gen Z are going to be the shift in regards to how the silent generation and the greatest generation, the generation before the silent generation, it kind of coincides with the 80-year theory. Yeah. And I don't know how much about that a
little bit,
but it's ultimately just generations replicating themselves.
Yeah.
And we are expected to kind of replicate what the silent generation and the greatest generations did. That's where I think our generation is going to lead, and the generation Gen Zers are going to lead. Look at even what a lot of the younger employees are doing. They're starting this whole, silent quitting, movement. And I don't even want to call it a movement because it shouldn't be a movement.
No, it really
You
shouldn't.
should care about what you do. You should use your sick time because that time's given to you.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be bragging about, I've collected, 3 years worth of sick time. Oh, well, that's great for you, buddy. Like, how tell me how you feel at the end of the day. Tell me how much time you spent with your family. That's what matters the most.
Yeah, shit, I don't have any sick time or
Exactly.
any vacation time left.
So, yeah. So to answer your question, I do think that there's going to be a change. I think it's going to go back to a better, statistically, a better looking resume.
Yeah.
But I think our generation and Gen Zs are going to be the ones who change that. We're going to be the catalyst for that change.
I hope so, man, because you know what? It's like, earlier when you were talking about, like, not being able to find a job in my field and blah, 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 all that. It's not the fact that I can't find the job in my field. It's the fact that when you go and you're looking at these positions that are opening for that field, and they specifically say, we want minimum 3 to 5 years experience.
That's the issue.
Like, how do you expect me to have that experience if you're not gonna go out on a limb and give someone a fucking chance?
100%
you know what I mean?
agree.
And that's where it gets me very, bent out of shape and pissed off, because there's so many people out there that have that passion and that talent for that specific thing that they can do, and they don't even get the shot.
No, they don't.
It's one thing, I get it, like with the field that I'm in, it's something goes wrong, it could be bad. You know what I mean? Like, there could be fucking people that could get hurt, blah, blah, blah. Structures could collapse, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what, like, for instance, like you said when we were talking about suits, the bar exam. Like, that's why you take tests to be able to get into employment. Yeah. Like, and that's fine. Like, I wouldn't have a problem doing that. 'Cause, it's what I'm there for.
Kind of audition for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think in a field where it's a physical field like that, you can audition for it.
Yep. And it's like, it just kind of makes me think, the other thing too is, like, when it comes down to that as well, a lot of companies aren't paying their employees what they should be getting paid. For instance, with welding, like, there's a lot of companies in this area that are paying like $15 an hour to be a welder, and then there's some companies that are paying like $35, $40.
Yeah.
Well, if you want me to put a $15 an hour weld down, I mean, I will.
It ain't gonna be those nice beat videos on TikTok, bro. It's gonna be those little sloppy, like, you might as well just get a soldering iron for that thing.
Look like bird shit.
Yeah.
But I mean,
even bird shit'd be prettier.
Yeah, right. But and then you have the $35 an hour weld. Like, it's just people. Like I said, people don't even want to give people the chance anymore.
I know,
and it's a shame.
I will say this: the one thing I've always heard, and this is coming from my perspective, and I've worked in an array of fields. I've done physical labor with though I was never properly employed from a different company. It was my dad's company.
Yeah,
but
it's still
worked electric for my dad. I did landscaping, hardscaping, worked in kitchens, worked an office job, doing sales. So I've had an array of experiences. And the one thing I always hear a lot from memory, from a lot of what the older generations say about us, is that we just don't apply ourselves.
Yeah.
But they're negligent of the idea, just give a chance. Because, again, here you are. Though you can take a $15 an hour job, that's not going to pay your bills. You got a daughter.
No.
Even if hypotheticals, we'll just say, here you are, pre-marriage, pre-child. That's still not enough to live off of.
No, it's not.
McDonald's pays almost as much as that. Chick-fil-A pays that much.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, that's well, maybe it is harder, or I don't know. I mean, dealing with people all day is not my type of gig. despite being in sales. Contradictory.
Look, I'm not gonna lie though. You fuck up my order.
Yeah,
You're getting paid $15 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
Yeah. So, kind of going to the topic, like, what was your, when you graduate high school, just put yourselves back in your high school shoes, okay?
Yeah.
Here you are, little Joshy Poo. That was his gamer tag, by the way. Joshy Poo 0208.
Yeah.
Don't look up his gamer tag, because if you see his Black Ops 1 KD, if you want a good laugh, you can.
Trash.
Yeah. Like 0.6, right?
I don't even remember, to be
It was
honest.
horrible. Yeah.
I've come a long way.
Anyway, put yourself back into Josh in high school, just graduating high school. No, I'm sorry, not even graduating. Like before, like sophomore year, junior year. What was the conversations like for you and about college with your parents? And I know at that time you were obviously in a split home, but what was the situation like for both?
Honestly, it wasn't expected like everybody thought it was, where, my parents were pushing me to go to college and get a degree and all that. It was more or less, do what you want to do. Do what your heart desires to do.
Yeah.
And at the time, at that time, my freshman sophomore year, I wanted to be a cook.
Okay.
I wanted to go to culinary school and all that shit. It's still technically working with my hands and everything, but and then as I got on and older, I really got into the construction industry and working with my hands more, and I ended up falling in love with it. And I kind of just straight up said, I'm not going to college. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
I ended up going to an HVAC school for night classes.
Okay. I didn't know you went there.
Yeah, right after I graduated.
That's so funny.
The year following, the school year following my graduation, I started night classes at the local Votech, and got my degree in that. So I technically have 2 diplomas in that.
Okay.
And then I kind of fell out of it because I lost interest, more or less. I still have it under my belt.
Yeah.
And I started doing welding with my father more at that time, and I'm like, I really like this. I enjoy doing this. It's fun, and I pursued going to get a degree in that.
Okay.
And dude, I know that they say like the college degrees and you're going and paying for all these loans and crazy shit, and some fucking trade schools are just as bad, man.
Exactly. So it's tough. I had a different experience.
Yeah.
Even down to in middle school, I remember my dad took me to this like college prep class, and I was in 8th grade. Not even in high school yet, in 8th grade. And my dad took me to this college prep class. I don't remember at that time what I ever wanted to be or anything like that. I don't. But I know at the time, I guess I thought I wanted to go to college, and took me to this college prep class. But it felt very, I know I'm the one who probably agreed to it, but I was also an 8th grader.
Yeah.
And my parents dished out money for this course and did all this. Quite honestly, I hate to say it, I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of it because a lot of it just felt as if it was like I was just trying to fit something that they wanted me to do.
Pressured.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember, so I went to, the high school I went to was Cape May County Technical High School. And my freshman year, you experience all the shop classes.
Yeah.
And decide what you want to do. And I remember experiencing marine biology.
Okay.
And I loved it. I loved it. I loved the teacher. I loved the program. I loved everything about that.
Yeah.
And shame on me for not listening to myself. But my parents talked me out of that because it wasn't a very logical career. It wasn't something that I could get a lot of job opportunities in later in life. And even to this day, I kind of look back at that and say to myself, like, firstly, I should have just followed what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then, and don't get me wrong, I went to the law program, went to the police academy. I enjoyed that too. I enjoyed law. But reflecting back, that would be the one thing I would change about my high school career. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, I would have went off to college for it, because I don't know. Maybe I would have, maybe not.
Yeah.
But, it was what I did do in high school wasn't what I was clearly more passionate about. And that would be the only thing I would do different. Going back into your own shoes and reflecting back on now, here you are in your life, would there be something that you think could have maybe changed, like somebody had influence on changing your course in any way, shape, or form?
I don't want to say somebody, more or less of a, I guess you could say a situation.
Okay.
When I was living in Oklahoma, after I had graduated from the Tulsa Welding School, that was at that time. That's when I'm good. That's when the Dakota pipeline was going on.
Okay.
Where they were running the gas pipeline or the petroleum pipeline from the North Dakotas to Texas.
Yeah.
And I had a friend of mine that was from Louisiana, and at the time we were bunkies during school. And after we graduated, he had texted me. He was like, hey, I have an opportunity for you, for both of us actually, if you want to put an application in to go weld on the pipeline.
Oh, okay, damn.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, that'd be great. And at the time, I didn't have the money. Like, I didn't have a rig. I didn't have any of that shit.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. Like, they were going to supply me with everything. Truck, welder, tools, helper, all that shit.
Yeah.
And I put my application in. They accepted the application. I had 2 weeks before I was getting ready to go. A week after they accepted the application is when they shut the pipeline down due to the reservation shit.
Yeah, I remember all that.
And at that time,
politics aside.
Yeah.
Politics aside, that sucks.
It does. It really sucked. And then after that happened, I kind of shifted directions a little bit, and I ended up working for kind of more or less like an industry company.
Okay.
Where we made like utility truck bodies. So we welded utility truck bodies together, and it was like an assembly line basically.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to say I didn't like it, but at the same time, it just wasn't for me. I just didn't feel like I felt like I had more to offer than to just work on the same shit every day.
Yeah, your political views aside, like I said, of the situation, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, that just sucks, man. Because it puts you into a position to where you took a lesser than opportunity. And I think arguably it changed your feel about even the work in general. I mean, you do this. So I'll preface it by saying you clearly have that work with your dad that you do.
Yeah.
And you clearly like to do this, but it's like, could you say it kind of dampened your
motivation for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. In a sense, yeah.
And that sucks.
It does suck because you know what? It's like I was so excited for that opportunity because like it wasn't just the job opportunity that I was excited for. Dude, I was going to get to fucking travel, bro.
Yeah.
Like I was going to be traveling for work.
Yeah.
I wasn't with anyone at the time. I was single. I could have been killing it, making fucking a shit ton of money.
You single now, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm single. But
life has come full circle.
But dude, there was just so many different things that I could have experienced.
Yeah.
That just got flushed down the toilet.
Well, I mean, you can't harp on the what could-haves, would-haves, and should-haves in life, bro.
Yeah.
I know it's easy, too, because you like to kind of fantasize. Everybody does.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We fantasize about, like, what it would have been like.
And the only thing I could say is that, like, it kind of influenced to where I am now. I mean, I'm a dad now. You know
I was
going
to say, you might not be in the career position you wanted to be in. You might not be this or that you had these aspirations for. But when it comes down to it, you have your daughter.
Exactly.
And it's dude, I hate sounding so cliche. I hate it, but it is the truth. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was just watching I told you earlier, I was watching a TikTok videos. One of those videos where it's like they show their kid. It's like, oh, it's like a little toddler, and then it's like, and now it's 7.
Yeah.
That. Oh man. Anyway, that pulls me. That pulls on my emotional strings all the time. I try to swipe quicker than I can, but I always find myself swiping back to it.
Yeah.
Just to watch, get back in my feels. Anyway.
So I guess basically one of the things I want to ask you is, do you have any advice for our listeners that could be, I mean, obviously they could be from an older generation, newer generation, whatever, you know, but when it comes to them being parents and raising their children, and the topic that we're talking about, previous generations pushing the idea of going to college, I want to know what your opinion is on that. Like,
well, I do want to say, just to interrupt you, because I do think a lot of the times when parents do that, it does come from a place of love. I can't imagine that it doesn't. It doesn't make it right.
No,
it doesn't make it right. But I do think it comes from a place of love, and I think it's, that parent just trying to want the best for their child and to do better and to have better than what they have. And I think that's where it comes from. But again, it doesn't make it right.
No.
And I think there are a lot of better ways to do that. And I think the only real way to do it is to just immerse yourself into them so you become as passionate about what they are as well.
Yeah. I agree with that, because
and gently nudge, not push, not shove, and not be avoidant of it either, because sometimes we do all need a little bit of a push to get over our own fears.
Oh yeah, definitely. I guess in a sense, like, it's hard for me because when it comes to Addison and when she grows up and what she wants to do, I don't want to be that dad, like, don't make the same mistakes I did, blah, blah, blah. You might end up here, because at the same time, like we had just said earlier, your fears become their fears.
That's putting pressure onto them.
Yeah, if you imprint that in on their brain, it's kind of something that they look back on and they're like, oh shit, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
You should talk about it, but at the same time you don't want to, because you want them to do what they want to do and make themselves happy.
Yeah.
But
it's tough.
It's fucking hard.
Again, being a parent is the toughest job in the world, man.
Yeah.
We're all right there.
And there ain't no college degree for that shit, baby.
No, there is not, which is the perfect segue for our resolution.
To grow from a place we're stuck at is first developing the awareness of where we are and how we may have gotten there. I think we can all agree that we millennials and Gen Z are aware of the issue and the history of the issue. However, the onus is on us to begin the move beyond that and find the innovation and creativity combined with having foresight of where our society may go to ultimately help the generations beneath us and allow our own children to grow and where and how they want to.
Yeah, don't be a Karen. Don't be a Karen, because then you're going to find yourself in a situation. And speaking of situations, what you got for us tonight, bro?
All right, so I got a couple tonight. Readings from FML, majority of them are all anonymous. First one is by Mafili in France.
Mafili.
Today, when I dropped my 6-year-old daughter off at school, a little boy ran up to her, so I asked his name. My daughter explained, "Oh, don't pay any attention to him. He's my slave. He comes to carry my bag.
Man.
See you later, Mom."
Oh, God. Good grief. He's my son.
Is Declan, that little crush Declan's got? Is that what he's doing?
No, he's going to ninja himself out of that one somehow. Good grief.
This next one's by Anonymous in 2015 in Portland. It says, today, while cleaning my son's room, I found an envelope labeled private and confidential under his bed. I opened it only to find it was a glitter bomb. I couldn't get it all cleaned off myself before he got home. He just said, "Ha, serves you right," and went to his room smirking.
Yeah, buddy.
And the last one is by Idiot, says HIPAA violation in 2015. Today, another idiot was admitted to my hospital with a foreign object up his ass.
Oh, Jesus, man.
Yet again, the excuse went along the lines of, I tripped and fell on it.
Oh my God.
Please, someone tell me how you can accidentally trip anus first onto the end of a cucumber, which just so happens to have a condom on it. FML.
That's a lucky coincidence, man. Somebody put it on his seat. He went to sit down at work. That's what it was. That's how you accidentally do it. Oh, good grief. Hopefully there's no videos of that on our social media. Where can they find that at?
Facebook, you can find us at / the Dad Tapes. Instagram is at the Dad Tapes Podcast. The X, as known as Twitter, is at the Dad Tapes. And TikTok is at Dad Tapes Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review of the show. Wherever you listen to podcasts, it truly helps the show.
Look, we're almost 30 tapes in. 30 tapes. 30 weeks. It's more than half a year. Half a year almost, guys.
Yeah.
So props to us.
6 months, guys.
But not props to you guys because you're not rewinding the tape. Joshy0208, he might have to empty a full clip on you, but he going to get you. You know, when you hiding behind there in gun range, yeah, you know what? He's running around with the AK-74U. Absolutely, he is. And yes, he's going to empty 30 clips. 5 of them might hit you, but there's 30 clips done. Don't make him use the full 30.
With rapid fire.
God. It's a good thing you've improved.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, peace out, guys.
See you guys.